You've built a product, users love it, but their customers never see it because it lives behind a login page. So, what if your product could show up anywhere on the web without asking anyone to leave their site? Hi, I'm Asan, and today we are going to look at how we can implement external widgets that are SEO optimized. Embeddable widgets are just portable UI blocks. Think like review badges, trust banners, rating panels, and announcement strips that anyone can drop onto their website with a single code snippet. What makes them valuable is that they extend your product's reach beyond your own app. So instead of asking users to send in their visitors back to your dashboard, widgets let your product's value appear exactly where those visitors already are. So that means that more social proof, better conversions, and your data stays centrally managed in one source of truth. At high level, a widget system has four parts. So the front end, where the user configure the widget, an embedded code generator, and a backend endpoint that handles the request, and the server rendered templating layer that produces the final HTML, for example, EJS. The flow goes like this. A user picks widget types and adjusts a few style parameters. Your app generates a snippet and they paste it onto their site. When a visitor loads that page, the iframe requests your backend, and the backend fetches all the data and renders the HTML, and the widget appears. The host website never reads your app logic, dependencies, or database access. It just loads a URL. Iframes are often best delivery mechanism because they create isolation. Your CSS and JavaScript live in a separate context. And so the host site styles and scripts cannot bleed in and break your layout. Your widget renders consistently whether that the host site is built in React, WordPress, or Workflow, or can be any framework like Angular or Vue for that matter. And from an operational standpoint, you can display the updates and rollbacks without touching anything on the host side. And that's it. This snippet is all that you need, and it is going to solve all of your problems. So it is a good thing. The widget feature lives or dies based on how easy the setup feels. Users should never have to manually compose URLs or figure out query parameters. The embedded code should generate automatically from whatever the settings the users have chosen in the UI. A good configuration flow should show a live preview while they are editing and ships with sensible default so the widget looks good out of the box and keeps the advanced options tucked away unless needed. If a setup takes more than a few clicks, then adoption will stall before it starts. Here is a useful tension here. Users want flexibility, but too much freedom leads to broken layouts and unreadable widgets. So the right answer is to provide controlled customization. Things like backgrounds, accent colors, text colors, and border radiuses. Also, you can also provide spacing. So the implementation is straightforward. Store styles and settings per widget instance, validate everything on the server side against an allow list, and apply settings through limited design token map with sensible fallbacks. The principle is to allow personalization, not unrestricted design editing. That boundary protects you and your users. When a widget request comes in, your backend should first validate the request, resolve the context, fetch the relevant data, merge it with saved styles, and render a server-side template and return a clean HTML. Doing the rendering on the server side has a compounding benefit. You change the template once, and every embedded instance updates automatically. Bug fixes, design tweaks, new data fields, none of that requires the host website to do anything. It also matters for SEO. When an HTML arrives fully rendered in the response, crawlers can parse it immediately. There is no waiting for JavaScript to execute before meaningful content appears. For widgets that contain text, reviews, rating, business info, server-side rendering is the right default. Client-only rendering can work, but it introduces unnecessary risk for the content that needs to be discoverable. Widget endpoints are public facing and often among the highest traffic routes in your product. So they need to be treated like a critical infrastructure from day one. So on security, you can use signed or tokenized widget identifiers. You should validate all the incoming parameters against a strict schema, and you should apply rate limiting and always escape output in your template. And you should never trust styles or filter parameters from requests directly. On performance, cache your rendered output where TTLs allow. Use CDN caching for stable responses. Keep widget markup minimal and set measurable targets like the time to first byte, P95 render time, and cache hit ratio. So performance decisions stay objective rather than intuitive. Widget lives on third-party sites that you don't control, which means a breaking change in your template can break thousands of embedded instances at once. So build versioning into your URL from day one. Keep the old version running during migration workflows and deprecate gradually with clear communication. You should know how your widget performs in real environments, not just test environments. So you should track your impressions by widget type. You should track your load errors, render latency, and which host domains are actually embedding your widgets. That data can answer practical product questions: which widgets are most used, where failures are clustering, and which styles variants get the most engagement. For testing, cover full stack: a unit test for validation logic, template render tests for expected HTML output, endpoint smoke tests, and visual regression checks for key style variants, and cross-browser sanity checks inside an iframe context and test key failure cases: invalid config, missing data, expired token, because your fallback behavior is part of the product experience. If you are starting from scratch, phase it. Start with one high-value widget type, ship the iframe embed and server rendered output, and minimal customization controls. Then layer in the caching and the observability and versioning before you expand the catalog. Get the foundation stable before you add complexity. A solid embeddable widget platform is a small distribution system, a content delivery, styling controls, rendering infrastructures, and operational reliability working together. Get the fundamentals right: front end configuration with copyable iframe embeds, server side rendering, controlled customization, and performance and security built in from the start. Do that, and you will have something that is easy to adopt, reliable across environments, and built to scale.